You need something meaningful to set against suffering. That's what you have to set against suffering, not happiness. Sometimes happiness isn't an option. I've been grateful for the good things that have happened to me, but I don't think I was grateful enough for just mundane normality. Life is brutally difficult, and sometimes unbearably so. The progressives play with this notion of suffering, which reflects some understanding of life's tragic reality. It's good to get that on the table and recognize that misery can demoralize you, make you bitter, cynical, and cowardly. If you let it, it's a failure on your part, and it will only make things worse. How do you respond to the catastrophe and challenge? Terrible as things are, there's a lot more to you than you can possibly imagine. If you face those things forthrightly and with faith and courage, you can have the adventure of your life and prevail even over catastrophe. People have difficult lives, full of suffering, and we make it worse with our voluntary stupidity, willful blindness, and malevolence. It's necessary to pursue something of substantive meaning to set against that. Most people find deep meaning in life by bearing responsibility for themselves, their family, and their community. The heavier the responsibility, the better. Professor Stephen Hawking said that the biggest threat to the future of mankind was when artificial intelligence learned to self-design. In my opinion, the biggest threat to mankind is narcissistic compassion. Artificial intelligence is a threat, but if we have our act together ethically, it could be a useful servant rather than a tyrannical master. Be careful of what you're jealous of, because you don't really know what it is. You're quite different from others and shouldn't compare yourself to them. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. That's a game you can win. When discussing important issues, the probability of offense is high. If you have a problem and need to think, you're going to offend people. So, should we stop thinking? That seems like a bad idea. Liberals and conservatives have different stances on openness and conscientiousness. Both attitudes are correct depending on the time. The reason we need political dialogue is so that liberals and conservatives can continue to argue about which solution is appropriate right now. Dividing human beings up by their group identity ends in disaster, no matter who plays it and why. Adopt a stance of ready engagement with the world and reflect that in your posture. Hierarchies aren't a socio-cultural construct, as evidenced by lobsters, whose nervous systems are similar to ours and run on serotonin. The idea of hierarchy has nothing to do with socio-cultural construction.